Buddhism is a world religion founded by the Buddha in ancient India. Buddhists seek wisdom, meaning, inner peace, and freedom from greed, hatred, and ignorance. Mutually sustaining life, a Buddhist call to a troubled world.
Buddha leads people merely by indicating to them the Four Noble Truths. Those who understand them properly will attain awakening. They will be able to guide and support others in this bewildering world, and they will be worthy of trust.
We're pleased to have you join us once again. We hope that your weekend has been relaxing and enjoyable, and that you are looking forward to a new week. I know that sometimes Mondays are a real drag. No wonder it's called Blue Monday. When I was young, I used to say to myself, yeah, that's really true. But since I began seriously walking the Buddhist path, I have rarely felt that. That's because I feel most of the time that I'm grateful just to be alive, with a ceiling over my head, enough food to eat, people whom I care about, and a general sense of spiritual well-being. The other day, I saw a TV program about an African country racked by civil war, where 1/5 of the children die before the age of 5 due to malnutrition and illness. A Christian nun running an orphanage was asked why the children seemed so happy despite their lot, and she replied, without any hesitation, the children know that killing and death are real and are everywhere, so they truly feel lucky just to be alive. In my view, this phrase, just to be alive, is related to our ongoing discussion of the Four Noble Truths. Wanting more and more does not assure happiness, but in fact will probably invite unhappiness. Now, by making this point, I'm in no way condoning the civil war or the plight of those children in Africa. Those societal conditions need to be improved and changed, and in my opinion, they can't come soon enough. Today, we are pleased to have as our guest Reverend Kodo Matsunami. He is a priest of the Jodo School and a university professor teaching religious studies. Reverend Matsunami has written numerous books encompassing both academic and popular genres. One of his published works is on the Dhammapada, one of the Buddhist classics that contains the sayings of the Buddha. Other impressive writings include Light in Dark Times, 108 Wise Buddhist Thoughts, and Buddhist Sages Speak on Dealing with Today. In the second book, there are short chapters such as For People Greedy for Money and For People Who Cannot Feel Grateful for Being Alive. Well, Reverend Matsunami, thank you for being with us. It's a great honor to have you with us. I'd like to begin with the first question regarding your book, Buddhist Sages Speak on Dealing with Today. And in this book, there's a chapter entitled For People Greedy for Money. What is your advice for people with that kind of problem in the context of Four Noble Truths?
Well, let me take an example. I happen to know an old man who passed away recently.
I see.
He had practically nothing when he started his business. He went around town to collect second-hand articles, and he was obsessed by money. And he would often say, without money, we can do nothing. Money is everything.
A lot of people like that.
Yes, he neglected his family life. And with the accumulated money, he purchased land and became a millionaire. And yet, he continued to live in a very small house.
I see.
Then this old man died suddenly due to a heart attack. Immediately after his death, his sons, who had not seen him for a long time, rushed to the father's house to attend the wake service. It was thought that they had come to pay their last respect. On the contrary, they called over the inheritance, even going so far as to argue in front of their father's remains.
That's a shame. Yeah.
So I saw this, I asked myself, what on earth had this old man worked so hard for?
Yeah.
We can, of course, live without money and things and gadgets around us, but we should remember that these are only tools for living. I understand our desires for more and more things, but time has come for each one of us to reconsider what true happiness is all about.
That's right.
I believe that what's most important is that things as love, trust, health, freedom, friendship, and peace of mind. None of which we can buy with money.
Well, your story about the old man, the greedy man, is very instructive. In that connection, there's a well-known scriptural passage that says, don't be greedy, and realize instead that you already have enough. Can you comment on this?
Well, let me see. So once we cross the line of moderation, nothing good can happen. When we do whatever we want, forgetting that we live in relation to others, then we cross the line into excess without even noticing it. Then we have to pay a price. If we drink too much alcohol or eat too much, then we'll be tormented by drunkenness and stomachache.
Yes. I've done that a couple times.
If we blame others without considering their feelings, then people will feel anger toward us. I'm not saying that it is best to tolerate adversity, only that you should ask yourself, am I doing too much or am I going too far? If the answer is, I might be, then consider it a red light. And for the sake of yourself and for others, exercise enough self-control not to cross over into excess. Thus, you should ask yourself, too much, one-sided, immoderate. If the answer is yes to any of these three, don't wait for someone to criticize you. Create some space to carefully reflect on your actions.
Some people say that Buddha is overly concerned with suffering. But, I say that he was honest and clear about his mission. For he made pronouncements, in effect, I speak about suffering, its cause, and ways to overcome it, and nothing more. Then he uses this famous metaphor of the man with a poisoned arrow. Can you comment on that parable?
Yes, the story of the man with the poisoned arrow goes something like this. Suppose a man was pierced by a poisoned arrow, and his relatives and friends got together to call a doctor to have the arrow pulled out and the wound treated. However, the wounded man objects, saying that, wait a minute, before you pull it out, I want to know who shot this arrow. What was the bow made of? Was it a big bow or a small bow? Was it made of wood or bamboo? Before you pull out the arrow, I want to know all about these things. Then what will happen? The poison will have time to circulate all through his system, and the man may die. So the first duty is to remove the arrow and prevent its poison from spreading. The Buddha's teaching contains what is important to know and practice, and not what is unimportant. That is that it teaches us that we too have been pierced by an arrow, so we must take it out immediately. We must learn the teaching and practice of it. It's a practical way of life rather than a theoretical understanding of life.
So it's practical. So in effect, we have the arrow pierced within us. Isn't that right? That's what
right.
You know, Reverend Matsunami, one question that I have is, what do you say to people who say that suffering is not something that is done unto oneself only, but also caused by other people and social systems, and natural disasters like typhoons, earthquakes, and tsunamis? Maybe an answer is to be found in the now famous phrase that I found in a public restroom, of all places. It went like this: difficulties are inevitable, but suffering is optional. Kind of humorous, but what do you think about that?
As you said, the phrase difficulties are inevitable, but the suffering is optional. Is saying that it's up to us as to how we deal with the situation that we are confronting now. What is important is our action in response to the difficulties. When we are wounded and are in pain, we have to first of all get immediate medical treatment for the wound. So our everyday life is just like driving a car. While driving, we have to always watch out at every corner in all directions and steer the car by adjusting the accelerator and brake pedals. If there is a stumbling block ahead of us, we have to either stop or remove the block or go around it in order to avoid an accident. Therefore, first of all, we have to have an intuitive and well-controlled mind and take appropriate action. The Buddha instructed us that absent-minded or delayed action would lead to grave results.
Well, thank you, Reverend Matsunami. Really appreciate your thoughts and comments, helping us to elucidate the Four Noble Truths.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, okay.
I hope this insightful discussion has helped everyone to gain a better understanding of the Four Noble Truths. Please join us again next week.
We at Bukkyo Dendo Kyokai pursue peace and happiness for people around the world. We have published the Buddhist teachings into 41 languages and donated our publication to hotels and other facilities in 55 countries. We would like to share the Buddhist teachings with people around the world. That's our mission. Visit our website for more information.